Hiya, it's me. Hi YouTube. I'm going to do a video. I'm going to do a video about Harry and Meghan. I just listened to a really disturbing audio clip from his book about him stroking his penis with moisturiser. That was the same moisturiser that his mum had. I really didn't need to listen to that, but it's it's quite funny. Anyway, I looked at Meghan, I don't know, a while back, about a month or so ago, and so much attention on this couple, and why was that? Well, I think that's the question, what was going on anyway. So when I see Meghan, like, we've got two realities. We've got the light reality and the dark reality, and Meghan is in the dark reality, of course. So dark reality, they can't take responsibility for anything, any actions, any emotions that they have. They're completely disempowered, owned slaves to a system. Obviously Harry and Meghan fit right into that. And anyway, so I went in and I saw that she was in a complete box, like completely boxed up. And on the outside of it, she's portraying something, you know, like I'm wonderful and look at me, I'm amazing, and, you know, all these things. But actually, within her heart is like trapped, like she's completely trapped. And she started to talk to me and say she has to be married to Harry for 5 years. And then after that, she can get a divorce. That it's, you know, she can't divorce him before that. There is no relationship. Yeah, Harry, I've started talking to Harry as well, and there's basically no relationship with them. There's been no sexual relationship since they've been married, which was a bit weird. It was like, you've had kids. No, they haven't had kids. So what she's told me, that the children haven't come from her. They're not from her ovaries. She's like, they haven't come from me. They're not part of me. They're not my children. So it's a bit weird. What gone on there then? And then I saw a scene with Harry, and he was speaking to the Queen, and he was asking for permission. Can I marry Meghan? And she said, yes, you can marry Meghan. I mean, why would you go to your grandmother to get permission to ask to marry the person that you love? Unless you're the royal family, of course. Weird. But she said that the Queen said that she can't bear, because of her DNA, the children into this. She can't bear that because she's of the wrong DNA. And now I think this is where the racism comes in. But it's not racism, because the royal family, they fucking hate everyone. Unless you're of that certain line, that certain DNA. And so it's not like racism, like we know racism. I mean, I'm sure they're racist, but it's not. It's she was of the wrong DNA. So Harry has had two kids, but it was like artificial insemination with a cousin in a Nordic country somewhere. I didn't actually go with if it was Norway but it was around that area I saw. Harry's not a very bright man, which could tell by, just tell, can't we, bless him. He's naturally very lazy, because he says everything is done for me. He says I don't have to do anything, so everything's done. And how he sees Meghan is a very smart, intelligent woman. He says, like, her mind is like super fast, and he says I don't really know what she's talking about most of the time. Which I found quite funny. So I was so I started talking to Meghan again, and she started showing me the beginning of her life. And Mum perceives men in a really negative way, but basically her mum is a really unstable lady. She kind of sold Meghan to the pharmaceutical companies. So there's like programming in early years in Meghan's life. She then showed me, as she started to grow up, she started to mingle with the rich and powerful. And she showed me on a yacht, a massive yacht, and she would entertain the rich and powerful, but that slowly turned into prostitution. But she said that there was no money involved. It was all done with jewellery and gifts. And then she got to a point where she slept with somebody that she didn't want to sleep with. She only slept with them because of the gifts. And then she said she had enough. So she kind of cut short there and left the ship, the yacht or whatever, that work. But she said she made so many contacts on the ship. She kept inviting on these like very luxurious holidays with people that she'd made contact with, and then it started up again. So she tried to get out of the prostitution, but then it slowly came back in. And Harry knows about it. It's like well known. She says all the press know about it, but she feels very protected because of the people that she has slept with, that they're very powerful, rich people. So what I saw behind Harry and Meghan is like two companies. One was a pharmaceutical company, and there was another company, and it's very reptilian based. So reptilian mind kind of thing. It's very heartless energy, and they kind of the whole is to keep the attention, so people focus their attention on Harry and Meghan, to get them to normalize the abuse victim energies. Now, I do speak about this a lot, about the abuse victim, that the abuse victim mentality is what's happened to the human race through the traumas that we had when we're kids. And part of the awakening is actually to come out of that and to heal those frequencies within us, because they're not natural within us. And the whole big thing with what they've been doing is to normalize these frequencies. So, you know, we don't look at ourselves. We don't wake up that this is not normal. And it's like being, you know, if you're in a room with a bunch of drug addicts and you're a drug addict, but everyone's a drug addict. So you're just like, well, this is the normal way of life. This is how life is. Well, that's exactly what they do. So they put these pin-ups up to normalize the frequencies that they emit out. And this is why it's always good to feel people and feel how they feel, because it tells more. It tells the truth rather than actually what they say from their mouth. And this is the same in football. Why football, Americans call it soccer, I don't know what the Aussies call it, but why it's so big and why they pump the money into it. And I looked at football. It's hell. It's a mafia energy. It's a mafia energy, and basically these poor kids, these young lads, they go into football. They go into the school academy, and then they get abused. And I mean horrendous abuse, sexual abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse. They grow up in these academies, and if they survive that abuse, and they're good enough and they get picked for the team, then they're encouraged to turn into the abuser themselves. So the football teams, you've got the young men, they basically start acting what took out on them when they were kids. But the mafia around them, the managers, they bring in all the prostitutes and the drugs and the drink, and then encourage them to keep that frequency. So I don't know if the mafia around them, like, they just I don't know if that's if they know, they just think it's powerful, and you know, it's just their way of life that they've probably grown up in, so it's not a bother. But actually the bigger game of it is to actually, when people focus on it and go into that energy of it, is that they normalize that energy. So they don't look at themselves, they don't heal themselves, they don't go, this is wrong, this is really screwed up, and carry on abusive victim behaviors at home with their family members and normalize that way of life. And actually it's not normal. So yeah, it's but on the hand with Harry and Meghan, I saw that the pharmaceutical company behind her were losing, that it wasn't having the effect that they wanted. I mean, it's the power, like, people are not not as interested as they would like it to be. So that's why all the focus on them as well. What else? There was a bit about the moon. I looked at the moon, and when I looked at this in the Q&A, there's actually no moon. The moon's gone, and what we see is a hologram now. And I saw that there was a fight over the moon. Now, the moon originally is not our natural moon. So when I went in there, it's hollow and it had computers in there. And it was hooked up to, it would affect the right side of the brain to highlight frequencies that will bring up the trauma frequencies. So it bring up the abusive frequencies to keep people in that frequency range. So it changed, it manipulated our way of thinking and manipulated our own natural frequency to keep it in the lower range. That came down, like the effects of that came down a few years ago when the matrix system came down, but there's been a war, and so there's like war over that. So I saw the moon, but at the back of the moon it was all gone. There was nothing. It's like an explosion had taken place. Now that moon was owned by these large, very large royal reptilian beings, and now we have a hologram there instead. So when we were talking about this in the Q&A, when I went and had a look, remote view this, and we saw it in the Q&A, people have been commenting on my Patreon site after, saying about the moon has been full for like 2 weeks, and they've seen the moon upside down, to the moon's been in the wrong place. And so maybe you can have a look as well and start to monitor the projection of this this hologram, of the moon, because it's not real. Yeah, this Sunday I've got a Q&A at 3 p.m, but I'm going to do a free one for YouTubers. I was going to do it live. I was going to do it live on YouTube, but I saw that would, because you can ask anything, and I'll look, but if a subject comes up that I may get banned, and I don't want to get banned, I want to stay on YouTube. So I want to stay connected to you guys. So it's better if we do it behind closed doors, basically. So I'm going to put a link in with this, so a Zoom link. And I think it's like the first 100 people or something. You can come along 2 p.m. this Sunday on the 22nd of January. So if you're around and you want to come and ask me a question, and I can go in and have a look, it can be about anything you wish. And so if you've got some burning questions, or want to understand something that you would like some help with, then come along and ask. I'll as it will be live, that's better, behind closed doors, but I'll probably cut it and make sure there's nothing in the Zoom link, and then upload it on YouTube. But if you want to see the live version where it's uncut, then come along. Yeah, and obviously if you like this video, please share. It always does help. And yeah, if you want to like it, share it. I think that's, yeah. Thank you. I super appreciate you. And be on Sunday at 2 o'clock. Look forward to it. Okay, you take care. Big hugs.